Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to the best of 2017 coverage. And today I'm talking about games that are best reprints or another edition of a game or a reworking of a game or a new version. Technically, these games are not original. They're based on another game. And so, or they're just a new version of that other game. But I think that this is important, right? Because one of my Vasel's laws says that if a game is great, it is going to be eventually reprinted, barring IPs and other, legalities. But I think this holds true. Every year we see games and like, this game was amazing. Well, it's out now in a new version. So here we go. Number 10 for this is Through the Desert. This one just came out. This is a new version of the classic game from Reiner Knizia, published from Z-Man Games. And this game about placing camels out, and you're trying to make trains of your color and land on a little oasis spots, have longest of a color, section off a corner of the board. It's like a lighter version of Go, but at the same time offers a lot of decisions as you only put out 2 camels on your turn. Now, the original game had a fantastic little plastic camels that look like candy. The new one has the same thing, but they also upgraded the board. The whole thing is a very gorgeous looking product now, and it's a classic game that has done well over the years. Highly recommend it. Number 9 is New York Slice. This is a reworking of the Piece of Cake, which is about pie or cake. I'm not really quite sure. And in that game, you basically have a cake and you are splitting it, and one person splits it and everyone else chooses. You get points. This one's the same thing, but it's pizza, because that's quintessentially American. We all like our pizza here, and so one person is splitting the pizza up. Everyone else will choose what section they want, and the pizza will never be split completely evenly, so you were just trying to split it so you get what you want. You want different toppings. There's different ways to score points, but it's also very, very simple and a lot of fun. And even though I do like the cake pie theme, the pizza theme works just as well. Number 8 is Amun-Re. This game from Tasty Minstrel Games. Tasty Minstrel has been making a lot of reprints of games. I mean, I also considered putting on their Coliseum game on here too, because I'm so glad that one came back into print. But Amun-Re is another classic Reiner Knizia game about building pyramids up in ancient Egypt, and then halfway through the game starting over again. The Tasty Minstrel reprint does a really good job of making the whole thing, the whole project look better. In fact, I did a video this year where I compared the old edition with the new edition because I still had it. That's how much I like this game, and I'm so glad that it is back in print. Number 7 is Codenames Disney. Now, this is a new version of Codenames. This is like the 5th version of Codenames. There was Codenames, Codenames Pictures, Codenames After Dark. Then we have Codenames Duet, Codenames Disney, and Codenames Marvel. Codenames Disney is my favorite of the lot because it takes the game. I like Codenames Pictures a lot. It takes that and it has words on one side and pictures on the other, but also makes it in a very family-friendly setting. You can play a light game with kids, or you can play the heavier game, and everyone has seen Disney movies. Although I'm sure someone in the comments will go, I don't watch Disney movies. That's fine, you cretin. But for most of us, we like Disney movies, and so there's like a shared, something that you can go back and forth with. It's an IP that really works well in this setting, and so I really like it. Codenames Disney. Number 6 is Betrayal at Baldur's Gate. Betrayal at House on a Hill was basically every CB horror movie in one box. This does the same thing in a Dungeons and Dragons universe. So the game is very similar, although the scenarios are different. It does feel like they've gotten rid of a lot of the elements. There were some scenarios in the original game that were broken. It seems like they got rid of that. They definitely have nicer pieces and more options and things to do. And I was like, I don't know how this will work in a D&D setting, but it actually does. It's silly, it's fun. It's not a game I want to play all the time, but it provides a really fun experience. And I think if you're looking for that semi-horror, silly, possible co-op, one person in the group is likely a traitor, you will really enjoy Betrayal at Baldur's Gate. Number 5 is Werewords. Now, technically, Werewords is not a reprint of another game, but it is so close to Insider that I am calling it that for purposes of this video. Insider was one of my favorite party games of all time that came out last year. Werewords is essentially the same idea, except it adds a little bit of a werewolf theme to it. and more importantly, adds an app with essentially unlimited words in the app, which really makes a big difference. In this game, one person it's like 20 questions, but there's a trader in the group, and you're trying to figure out who the trader is. It could even be the person who is asking the questions. So there's some really good back and forth. This is a great game to sit around and just, you don't need a lot of pieces to play this game. Sit around a table and laughing and joking. Just a lot of fun. Werewords. Number 4 is Rum and Bones Second Tide. Rum and Bones was a fantastic game. 2-player pirate game where you had, fantasy pirates. It was like the quintessential pirate game. I really like that. But this one really upgraded it. In fact, they made a nice upgrade pack that upgrades all the old stuff. I thought the original game was good. They fixed it. I was like, wow, it doesn't need to be fixed. I guess it does, because I'll never play first edition again. They have a new back and forth. The game flows better. It can even play multiplayer in a better way, I think, than the original game did, although I still prefer it 1 versus 1. They made each faction even more diverse than they were before, allowed you to upgrade your heroes as you went around fighting things. It brings the whole MOBA experience to a board game very well. Number 3 for me is Indulgence. Now, the Indulgence is one of 2 games on my list from Restoration Games. Their whole point is to bring older games back. And in fact, Stop Thief was number 11. That was their 3rd game that they've come out with this year, where they're taking these old games and bringing them back. Indulgence is a trick-taking game. I never played the original version of this trick-taking game. I like trick-taking games, and Indulgence may be my favorite trick-taking game ever. I like the artwork on the cards. I like how large the cards are in this game. Each trick or each round of the game, you are trying to take tricks according to, or not trying to take tricks according to a certain point that's put out by someone else. They might say, try to get the most purples or whatever. Although one person can shoot the moon every turn if they so desire. They're the sinner. They're like, you get points every time we take a purple. Well, I'm going to try to take all the purples, and if I do so, then I get the points instead of you. I really like this concept. It's really interesting. I always like shooting the moon in hearts and so on. This game allows me to do it in a lot of different ways. Highly recommend it. Number 2 is Twilight Imperium 4th Edition. This one came out of nowhere. I guess it not came out of nowhere because we've been predicting it for 5 years. We just gave up on it because we assumed it was never going to come out, and lo and behold, it did. It was not as grandiose as an update as I thought it would be. It essentially almost feels like Twilight Imperium 3.5. I don't think that's a bad thing, though. First of all, they put a lot of stuff in that box. There is a ton of, the plastic miniatures are much better. They streamlined certain aspects of the game that really needed to be streamlined. The game isn't much shorter, but it feels like it plays faster, which is certainly a help there. So while Twilight Imperium 3 was a definitive, space opera epic in a box game, this one does it better. And so I foresee as time goes by, the 3rd edition will fade off into the distance because that's how much better this one is. And my favorite reprint, I already mentioned that there was 2 Restoration games, so this must be the other one, right? It is. It's Downforce. This is a reprint of an older racing game from Wolfgang Kramer, in which you are racing these cars around a track. You own some cars. You're trying to get your car first, but you can bet on other people's cars. And though everyone is moving all the cars, and so after a while, you might even make your car lose, because forget that, I'm trying to make Billy's car win because I have a lot of money on it. It's silly. Each person gets a power that they're able to use. It works really well with families. It goes up to 6, no problem. The tracks are different. It's mean, but not so mean that you're like, oh, I'm never talking to you again, because everyone is being mean to each other in a very quick, short period of time, and it's fun. It's just, when you're done with Downforce, you're like, whoa, that was a great racing game, and I think a lot of people are really going to enjoy this one. There are so many games that could have been on this list. I'm sure I've missed some of your favorites. Let me know what they are in the comments. You agree, disagree? Either way, I want to hear about it. Until next time, though, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Best of 2017 coverage on the Dice Tower.